Good day, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, or whatever time it is in your part of the world. This is King B coming back at you with another video. So, what income is considered poverty level in 2024? And this article is by Go Banking Rates. Let's see what they're talking about. The idea of the poverty line dates back to 1963 when Marley Orshansky, a statistician for the Social Security Administration, developed a method to measure how many families were unable to afford basic necessities. She based her calculations on the cost of feeding a family of four with a rudimentary food plan plus other necessary living expenses. Today, the U.S. Census Bureau still uses these calculations to determine what income is considered poverty level. Here's a look at what it means to live in poverty in 2024. The poverty threshold in 2024. According to the most recent report from the U.S. Census Bureau, the poverty threshold for a family of four is $29,960. For an individual, the poverty threshold is $14,891. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services uses the Census Bureau threshold to determine who is eligible for certain government assistance programs like SNAP, that's food stamps. Under their guidelines, a family of four is considered impoverished if they earn $30,000 or less per year. Now, that's just nonsense, in my opinion. I mean, $30,000 for a family of four, that's well below, you know, poverty. I mean, you got a family of four and $30,000 a year in today's economy. When people who need help go to get help, they can't get the help they need if they're making over. You got a family of four and they're making over $30,000, and they won't be able to get the help they need. It's just outdated and it's nonsense. When you look at the cost of living today, and this is what these are the numbers they're going by, right? That number is slightly higher in Alaska and Hawaii, which tend to have higher living expenses. For U.S. Department of Health purposes, the poverty threshold for Alaska is $37,500 for a family of four, and for Hawaii, it's $34,500. To put those numbers in perspective, the median household income in 2024 is $98,487, over three times the poverty threshold. How many Americans live in poverty? According to 2021 U.S. Census Bureau data, the latest available, 11.6% of Americans live at or below the poverty line. That amounts to approximately 38 million people. The percentage of children under the age of 6 living in poverty is 16.1%. In my opinion, is more than what they're saying, because the numbers they're going by is outdated. It does not match the economy of today. They still going by using statistics from 1963. It's outdated. Is much more than 11.6% of Americans living at or below the poverty line. Poor Americans spend larger percentages of their income on basic necessities. Americans living in poverty tend to feel the effects of inflation more than the average American. As a result, they are spending greater proportions of their income to cover basic expenses like housing and food. According to Bureau of Labor Statistics data, while the average American household spends 33.8% of its income on housing, American households earning less than 30,000 spend 41.2% when it comes to food. The average American household spends 12.4% of its income, while households earning less than 15,000 spend 16.7% of those earnings. Between 15,000 and 30,000 spend 14.1%. Poor households also spend more on healthcare expenses. The average American household devotes 8.1% of its income to healthcare, compared to 8.6% for those earning less than 15,000 and 10.9% for those earning between 15,000 and 30,000. On the other hand, impoverished Americans spend less proportionally on nice-to-have expenses. The average American household spends 5.3% of its income on entertainment, while those earning under 15,000 spend 4.8% of those earnings. Between 15,000 and 30,000 spend 4.6%. Additionally, the average American household puts 11.8% of its income toward personal expenses and insurance, while those earning less than 15,000 earmark just 1.2% of those earnings, and those earning between 15,000 and 30,000 dedicate 2.8%. Again, outdated in my opinion. Outdated. They're still using statistics from 1963. It's outdated in my opinion. Those numbers are much more higher. You know, me talking about poor class, middle class. There's no more middle class. There's no more middle class. I haven't been a middle class in years. These numbers are outdated. You know, you got people who make more than $30,000 and need help, right? And then in Illinois, they're proposing a bill to to give money. Well, let's go to it. Let me go to it. Let's go to it. Because I just read a story earlier about Illinois, what they're proposing. Here we go. Proposal would have taxpayers fund statewide $1,000 monthly guaranteed income. This is in Illinois. Okay, this goes right along the article I just read. You know, because they're using, again, they're using statistics from 1963, right? As a benchmark to see who needs help, to determine who needs help, who can get food stamps, the help they need, and who can't. They don't factor in all the taxes that get pulled out of your income. Before you get your check, before you get paid, before you see that money, they pull all those taxes out. And then once you get your check, that's called disposable income, right? Before you get your check, they pull out all the taxes. Then they give you your check. What you receive as a paycheck, they call that disposable income. That's what that's called. And then you gotta take that and you pay your rent or your mortgage, and you pay your bills, and you go to the store, you make your purchases or whatever you need, and you paying more taxes on top of the taxes they pulled out. And then they come up with nonsense like this, right? because the taxpayer is the one who's going to pay for this. In Illinois, this is in Illinois. A measure creating a task force to look into monthly guaranteed taxpayer-funded unrestricted cash subsidized to certain individuals in Illinois is being discussed in the state legislature. Now, this is not passed yet. They're going over this. An Illinois Senate Appropriations Committee Wednesday heard about Senate Bill 3462 from State Senator Ron Villavalum, all right, Democrat of Chicago. The bill as filed will create the Illinois Guaranteed Income Law and establish a board within the Department of Human Services to evaluate the efficacy of the program, propose statewide policies, and provide oversight. The board would review the landscape of cash supports available to low-income residents and identify populations without significant access to cash supports. The bill as filed says after the board is dissolved at the end of 2027, DHS would administer the program with monthly cash payments of $1,000 to Illinois residents, regardless of immigration status, who provide care for a child or a specified dependent, recently gave birth or adopted a child, or is enrolled in an educational, vocational program. Villavalum presented an amendment to his bill during a subject matter hearing in Chicago that would focus on creating the task force. It would not prescribe a dollar amount for what the payment would be. He couldn't say how much his plan would cost taxpayers. Now, see, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. He proposes a bill to just give away $1,000. To Illinois residents, regardless of immigration status, right? Without saying what the dollar amount would be, how much is going to cost the taxpayers? That's dangerous. You know how much money that can cost? That's going to cost. If they approve this, those are conversations we would like to have with the members of the committee and our colleagues to see what would be appropriate to start this off at the state level, Villavalum told the committee. The amendment wasn't acted upon by the committee. Mike Buehler, who is the McHenry County Board Chairman, couldn't attend Wednesday's hearing but is listed as an opponent of the measure as filed. He said it's irresponsible to discuss such a program without knowing how much it will cost taxpayers. I 100% agree with him on that. My understanding is that you would have to be a person with a child or caring for someone in your home or in school to be eligible for the benefits. That could be millions of people, and the cost would be in the tens of billions of dollars, Buehler told the Census Square. And where's the state going to come up with these funds? And the only place to come up with that is to get it from the taxpayers. Yeah, that's all they're going to do. Pilot guaranteed income programs in Chicago and the Metro East St. Louis area are ongoing, costing taxpayers millions. In 2022, the city of Chicago was in line to spend $31.5 million for $500 a month to go to 5,000 low-income residents. That same year, Illinois legislators approved a pilot program using state taxpayer funds worth $3.6 million for the Metro East St. Louis area. Amaya Pawar with the Economic Security Project said there are 150 different programs across the country He gave examples of people using the money to buy sports goods for their children or even to take a vacation. And all of this money that goes into the pockets of stabilized households flows through local businesses, Pawar told the committee. So you see some of this money back in sales taxes and other taxes. Bueller said there could be unintended consequences like reducing work productivity and more. For regardless of immigration status, I think an unintended consequence could be a flood of migrants coming to Illinois looking for benefits and not having to work for it, he said. Pawar said the proposed statewide guarantee program of unrestricted cash should be in addition to two other taxpayer-funded safety net programs. Programs like Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program funds go to buy food. The Low-Income Housing Energy Assistance Program is for heating bills. The Temporary Assistance for Needy Families program provides monthly cash assistance to low-income families with children. The unrestricted cash from a guaranteed income program would be bad for other taxpayer-funded safety net programs that go for specific assistance, Bueller said. And to get this income, they may not necessarily spend that in their own best interest or the interest of the citizens at large, he said. The amendment wasn't acted upon. The measure remains in committee. So this is the type of stuff that's going on. You know, there's a saying I heard years ago. You know, I heard someone said years ago that the working man is a sucker. I didn't get it I didn't understand it when I first heard that saying. You know, what they mean, the working man is a sucker. You know, until I had a neighbor who didn't work, had all of the programs, food stamps, welfare, whatever, cash assistance. And I found out that they also got, besides the food stamps and rent getting paid, cash they was getting, they also had a moving allowance. You know, this individual was looking to move into a house, and so they had a moving allowance. They also had furniture allowance, right? And, you know, I was living in an apartment at the time, and I remember feeling, you know, I was upset. I was frustrated. I said, well, hold on. Here I am, busting my butt, working long hours to take care of my family, feed my family. And this individual here don't have to do a thing, getting all this money, moving allowance, about to move into a house and get a moving allowance, going to get furniture allowance to buy brand new furniture, can go shopping and buy all this food. And meanwhile, here I am having to work long hours, blood, sweat, and tears for a paycheck, paying all this money in taxes. When I go to the store, you know, I'm doing math in my head. I'm making sure I don't go over a certain dollar amount in the stores. You know, I'm counting my change. I'm doing math in my head to make sure I don't embarrass myself at the cash register. You know, and you got this individual here living a stress-free life. It was the most it's the most frustrating situation, and you know, and that's when I understood that saying of the working man is a sucker. You know, and this was over 20 years ago, I'm talking about. I mean, I could see the pros and cons from both um, standpoints. You know, I mean, it's worse now. What's going on right now with the with the immigration, all these people coming across the border, they getting all this money. Again, as I stated in the previous video, when you look into the countries that this government just give millions and millions and millions of dollars away to every single year. And again, where they getting the money from? Your taxes. The taxes you pay. That's why when they come up with something or why they need to raise taxes, and they give the same old, they tell the same old lie about, oh, it's going for your highways and make repairs and your highways and the roadways, and it's all nonsense. It's going to other countries. It's going to people coming across the border. How about this? It goes to the crown. See, that's another conversation right there. It goes to the crown. Yeah, I'm talking about the British royal crown. Those who know. Do your research. Do your research. Okay? Do your research on that. See, because they lie to you. They lie to us about everything. This government does not and never have had our best interest in mind. And again, I can't stress enough. It's going to come a point in time when we, the people, are going to have to really get together and stand up against this tyranny. Until then, this nonsense is just going to keep continuing, and we just going to keep, being in line, punching clocks, going for whatever they doing whatever they tell us to do. Don't think. Don't use our brains. Just listen and do what you're told. Pay your taxes. Be a good standing member of society. Meanwhile, we're being taken advantage of on every level, at every turn. Right? I believe it was John D. Rockefeller who funded the educational system. And he said, I don't need a nation of thinkers. I need a nation of workers. I believe that was John D. Rockefeller who said that when he funded the educational school system as we know it today. He said, I don't need a nation of thinkers. I need a nation of workers. Right? So for those of you who are pro the educational school systems, do your research. Our children do not go to school to learn. They go to school to get programmed. To be programmed. That's the good thing about the internet. That is one of the good things about the internet. With all the nonsense that all the negative that you see online, the one good thing about the internet is, you can research and learn more than you can in any school. So do your research, learn for yourself, think for yourself, dare to be different. Don't just go along with what we told, is normal. Think for yourself. Make wise decisions. Don't listen to what anyone tells you. Look it up for yourself. Do your own research. But that's all I have for you for this video. Be safe out there, everyone. Love yourself. Love each other. Keep your family close. Watch each other's backs out there. Protect yourself. Protect each other. Dare to be great. Dare to be different. Peace.